A beautiful welcome. We are live in the Trumpet of Hope, and this is Captain Jiragawajeri. I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a beautiful day. I know there was so much going on after us hosting Charles Geshoke yesterday and our doctor yesterday, Dr. Lane. He took us through the whole process of COVID and so much going on. Welcome once again. This is the Trumpet of Hope, and we are live from the great state of Texas. And this program tonight is powered by the One Voice Consortium and OVC, simply OVC. You know, watu huongea kuhusu mambo ambayo yanaendelea kule nyumbani, mambo ya uchaguzi, mambo ya kujiandikisha kwa kupiga kura, mambo kama hayo. Na sisi ambao tuko in the diaspora, we don't want to be left behind. I know there is a communication ambayo ilitoka, sijui wakasema watu watajiandikisha, and I don't know whether we pay attention to these things. It is important. Do you know why? Because we send money to Kenya. You have invested in Kenya. You have your brothers and sisters in Kenya. You have your relatives in Kenya. So it is important to participate in the civic process, in the everything that is going on, in electing and voting in your representatives. It is important. And guess what? When things are going on in Kenya, they affect us directly. So we have a lot of work to do as the Kenyan community abroad. We have a lot of work to do. You know, it's not just saying, hey, ni nani anasimama. And guess what? These people come here and solicit for votes. It's only a few months from now, and then we'll start seeing all of them coming in to get your votes and to tell you what they are going to do. They did it before, and they know even right now they'll do it. So we have to ask ourselves as Kenyans in the diaspora, what are we doing to be counted? What are we doing to be counted? I know it is a big challenge when the IBC says that we are going to travel from Seattle, Washington to go to New York, or to go to Washington, D.C., or to go to L.A. to go and register as a voter. I know sometimes it is very hard, but tonight we are going to have a beautiful panel and we are going to discuss some of these things just briefly. Na najua kwamba tutafurahia. So, if you love politics, I know there's some noise somewhere. I know there is some background noise somewhere. If you love politics, if you know that you're concerned with the Kenyan politics, then this is your program. This is your program. If you know that you have some investment back in Kenya, this is your program. If you know that you have bought a plot somewhere in Kenya, then this is your program. That is very, very important. So welcome once again. This is the Trumpet of Hope, and we are broadcasting to you from Texas, yeah? Moja kwa moja. And we are live on the Trumpet of Hope page, and also on our app, Captain RTV, and also we are live on our YouTube channel. Yeah, hizo zote. And then after this particular program, that's going to take the next maybe 20-40 minutes. At the next 40 minutes, we are going to have another very special program that will come after that. But before then, let us have an introduction of my guests. An introduction of my wonderful guests. Watakuja hapa, watajaza screen, na najua kwamba itakuwa mzuri. Let's make sure that our microphones are unmute. Lafu itakuwa maridadi. But all there is some background makelele, kama kuna watu wanapika, waambie watulie sasa, tuingie kwa mkutano, na itakuwa maridadi. If at all there is all that, tuingie kwa mkutano sasa, na itakuwa maridadi.
Mwenzio sipiganagi mwenyewe, inapiganiwa na baba. Mwenzio sipiganagi mwenyewe, inapiganiwa na baba. Mwenzio sishindani mwenyewe, nashindaniwa na Yawe. Mwenzio sipiganagi mwenyewe, inapiganiwa na baba. Mwenzio sipiganagi mwenyewe, napiganiwa na baba. Mwenzio sipiganagi mwenyewe, haleluya, napiganiwa na baba. Mwenzio sishindani mwenyewe, nashindaniwa na baba. Mwenzio sipiganagi mwenyewe.
Yes, thank you. Asante. The others will come and join us as we continue. The others will come and join us as we continue. Let me hear what is happening right here. Okay. Sasa mambo iko namna that. Mambo iko hivyo. All right. Sawa. Sijui kama nasikika vizuri. Can you hear me right?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I know there's some noise somewhere. We are going to get rid of that shortly. Tusikize kila mtu. All right. Good. Sasa tuko pamoja. We are in the same page. Yani mnakaa kama tuko class.
I don't know what we are supposed to
be doing. We are excited to be here.
Now, Sarah, I don't know whether you have a microphone that you can use direct so that we can reduce that background noise. If you can do that, I'll be very excited. Then I'll be very, very excited, Sarah. There you go. So unmute yourself.
Is that better?
Oh, it is not just better. It is very good.
It's great.
All right. So karibuni sana, mtusalimie, mtuambie majina, sijui tutaanzia kona gani. I don't know whether we are going to start, I don't know which corner, but they say ladies first. So maybe Sarah, you can start us off, introduce to us the whole thing. Utuambie uko wapi, utusalimie. You can use your mother language, you can use Swahili or English, but mostly English.
Thank you so much, Captain Adro, Mr. Adro Wajeri. Thank you so much for having me here. This is not a new place for me. I've been here before, but I'm always excited to be here. And particularly today, I'm really, truly excited to be discussing our country, Kenya, that, it's now things are happening, and we as people who live in diaspora, we are hoping and getting ourselves ready to vote. I was so moved, I was so jammed until there was a little hard stop when I heard that for you to vote, things zitakuwa namna kadhaa, and that's why we are here to discuss it. So my name is Sarah Munyere. I live in New Jersey with my family. And I'm excited because here in diaspora, I've been here for quite a number of years. I work in financial industry, and beside that, I have a business that I started with my business partner, and it's called Jabalist. And Jabalist, what we do, we are targeting all Africans who live here in the United States, trying to help ourselves, anyone who has a business, to have one stop where everyone can go and be able to shop in your business. Not necessarily shop from my website or our website, but to know about your business that you're carrying or you're doing here in diaspora. And in so doing, you will be able to send customers to you. And we are also doing the same for businesses that are located in Kenya, which have interests of targeting our money here in diaspora. And you know, some of those businesses, they have been here. We have used them to invest in Kenya, or we have used their banking services. And sometimes they don't match up the customer service. So we'll have an opportunity where we can link them. So head to Jabo List and you'll see all that information. And you can check my name on website. On Facebook, I'm there, and more information I can share about Jabo. I am also here as a member of One Voice Consortium, and with One Voice Consortium, I'm the publicity director. I also work in the docket of cultural and diversity, and I have history with that because I have an organization called EPAD that we help our youth and young adults be able to get scholarship, be able to do college application, stay in school and get into career, including supporting them getting, internship and stuff like that. So with One Voice, those are the positions that I hold, and I'm excited because One Voice is a place where everyone is invited to be. If you have an organization, if you have a business, and you want to be able to speak in one voice to our government in Kenya, to our government here, so that as Kenyans, we can be heard. They say umoja ni nguvu. So when we are together, if we write a letter and it is signed by an organization like One Voice, the government will listen because they know that One Voice has over 100 companies that it's One Voice, and not only the government in Kenya, but even the government here. And so let's team up there, let's work together. And I must say, as I introduce myself, that One Voice has done a lot of work for us to be where we are. Now we are discussing how we can be able to realize the dream of us here in diaspora voting.
Thank you.
A lot of work has been done by One Voice and other organizations, and so I am really truly proud of One Voice and our leaders. And tonight we'll talk more about that. So thank you for having us. We are excited, and we truly appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you so much. We are so happy to have you, Bwana Amite.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Those who are watching us out in Kenya, other different countries. My name is Dennis Mitei. I live in DC, Maryland area. So I'm happy, excited to be in this forum today. And when I heard that we are going to vote, I was like, man, here we come now. I've never voted in my life. This is my first time. I have to do it.
Oh,
so
nice.
The challenges are there, but we're going to work through, and I hope people will be able to help us to work out so that everyone will be able to get a chance to vote. I know diaspora contribute a lot to the Kenya economy, and anything that we do here in diaspora need to be listened there, and they need to help us in order to be able to vote, to raise our voice and elect leaders who will be able to help everyone. So I'm president and CEO of Multi Group Enterprises. We focus on different things. One is in healthcare, where I do consulting for those who want to start business in healthcare in DC, Maryland area. We do consulting for that, writing policies required by the state and all that. Another thing is like for those who have doctors' offices, nurses, and who want to practice on their own and they want to comply with EPA compliance and all that. We provide security for that too. That's what we do. And also we do provide all the requirement required by the states, mainly Maryland and other states, for certification in order to work in healthcare field. Also, what we do all in as a mostly enterprise group. We are car dealership, and if you look anybody in diaspora looking for cars, we do all over the US, and that's all we do. And also, if you want to get online, that's what we do. Web development and web hosting services, we provide all that too. So I'm also a member for OVC One Voice. That is a group that has done a lot of legwork, as Sister Sarah said. That's why we are here now, getting ready to vote. I'm the coordinator member for Maryland, DC area. I'm looking forward for this discussion. I know we are running out of time. I'll leave it from there, and then once we start discussion, we'll go from there.
Thank you
in
so
Kenya,
much.
I come from Eldoret. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. This is awesome. If by the side, since I'm an investment promoter now, if by the side you are looking for a vehicle, or you're looking for web development, or you're looking for any healthcare consultation services, you want to start a business in healthcare, then you have the right person right here. If you want to get to the online, we have the president of Jumbo List right here, Kevin.
Asante sana Captain Andrew Njeri
Yes.
kwa kutualika hapa leo. I am very excited to be in this panel together with Sarah and Dennis, members of One Voice Consortium, and I should thank One Voice Consortium for organizing this important, I should say, outreach or broadcast, or just to sensitize Kenyans about their rights. And as you can see, my name is Kevin Machine. I am 100% Kenyan. I grew up in Nakuru, Kenya, and I've lived there, I should say, half of my life in Kenya, in Nakuru mostly, and the other half now here in the US. And this occasion is actually very touchy to me because when I turned 18, I didn't vote, but my first encounter with the voting, I was a poll worker in Nakuru, a place called Shabab. So I was actually working at a polling station. That time, I don't know if they were called IBC, but I participated in making sure everyone voted. So I'm familiar with that process. And now you're coming full cycle here in the US to try and vote for the first time. And I'm excited. And just a bit of a background, I'm the chairman of Swahili Cultural Institute. Swahili Cultural Institute is a language and cultural institute. Tunafunza Kiswahili kwa watoto wetu, other Americans, anyone else who wants to learn Swahili, and we teach all levels. And we're actually starting a new semester this week. So if anyone is interested in learning Swahili, please send them to our website, Swahili Cultural Institute, and they can sign up. And at One Voice, I'm the chair of Cultural Committee, and we are looking forward to host one big event this year to celebrate our diverse cultures in Kenya, because we don't realize the strength we have in having 42 languages. Here in the US, we talk about diversity. Teams need to have a different diversity to make them stronger and more perform on a higher level. If we could just see Kenya as a diverse team and use our strength of the different ethnic tribes and work towards a certain goal, we will be very successful as a country. On voting, I am very disappointed and at the same time excited we are voting. Disappointed the fact that I find IBC is not prepared to, even though it's been the constitution for us to vote, then, yes, we are going to vote, but it looks like it's so constricted. I mean, the rules which are there, I don't know if the point to start pointing them out. I think the rules which are there, they're kind of limiting rather than ensuring everyone who can vote votes. So that's a big problem. And I hope this forum will help to address that and broadcast it. And hopefully they can do something about having all Kenyans in the diaspora to vote. So I'll take it back to you, Captain. You can guide us with the various points you have.
Thank you so much. Swahili Cultural Institute, very important because Swahili is one of the languages that connects all of us as a Kenyan community. And I'm so proud of what you're doing. I went through the website and I saw whatever you're doing. You people are doing such a good job. I remember my Swahili teacher, who is based in Boston right now. My primary school Swahili teacher is called Mr. Mukundi, and the others. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
Thank you.
Once we join together, we're going to do something. Thank you so much. Now, let's look at what is expected of all of us. We're going to be very quick on very brief points, and then we'll continue with this when we get a report from IEBC and the members of parliament who are supposed to take some action, if at all. Like Kevin said, it seems that IEBC is not actually 100% ready to have us register. Some of the concerns that Kenyans need to know is that if you are in the diaspora, apart from those who are in East Africa, all the others are going to vote or to register using the passport. Sarah, how does that affect us as Kenyans in the diaspora?
Oh, that's one of the biggest barriers that we are having right now. You know, I know everyone who is here, in one way or another, they have a Kenyan passport, because for us to come here, we used a Kenyan passport. But the problem is, those passports are expired, and most of us have applied for the new passport, but they're on the pipeline. They're taking forever to get here. And so saying that we can only vote with a passport is very limiting. In fact, it is discriminatory. Mm-hmm. We should be, for you to have a passport, or for you to have a Kenyan ID, you must have been a Kenyan. It's better for us to be asked to go with 2 ID to verify that we are the real person. Be asked to go with a Kenyan ID and a bank statement or something to show that we are Kenyan. But saying that you can only vote if you have a legal and valid passport is very limiting, and that is one of the reasons why we are working so hard. OVC, it's following up and have given our advice to the commissioner, to the IEBC. We are following up with the parliament, and all these other efforts that we are employing to ensure that is changed, because it is obviously very limiting and it is hard.
Thank you so much. I don't know how the issue of IDs and the use of a passport is affecting the young people who have never voted. Wanamite?
Yeah, I think, okay, for the ID, let me begin this way. In order to get a passport in Kenya, what do you need to provide? ID. Mm-hmm. You have to provide a proof of ID, right? So if you don't have an ID, you cannot get a passport, unless if you are 18 and up. So anybody who is ready to vote is 18 and up. So the use of passport as a requirement, and that is a secondary document that you are getting after getting the ID, will not be what should be used to identify you as a Kenyan. ID is the most important document in Kenya. Anybody with an ID in Kenya can do a lot of things. You cannot get like the PIN number without KRA in Kenya without an ID. Mm-hmm. You cannot open the e-citizen account for the government without a Kenyan ID number. So then why should they force people in diaspora to use a valid passport? And the way Sister Sarah said, people have passport, but it might be expired, and they have applied. The process takes long to get the passport, and you have to provide, in order for you to get that passport, you have to provide your ID. So ID should be the valid document to identify you as a Kenyan. And nobody usually gets the Kenyan ID. It took me a long time to get a Kenyan ID. I never got it myself when I was in Kenya until I came to the US. I got it when I was here. So it was difficult for me to get the Kenyan ID when I was in Kenya because I had to be proving myself that I'm a Kenyan. But the problem was like I went to schools outside Kenya. That was making it difficult for me to prove that I'm a Kenyan. So if I can prove that if I have an ID as a Kenyan citizen, that is the very important valid document that is used for anybody wanting to vote in Kenya, not the passport. Passport is a secondary document. So I hope the members of parliament and to consider that for the people in diaspora, because I know the people in IDC, they were saying they're excited by the law which was passed by the members of parliament on this. So they cannot change or they cannot do anything until the parliament change that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kevin. If you were to address this issue of the documents that are supposed to be used, and if you were to maybe speak to the IBC and the people who, are dealing with this law, do you think that we would say that we are being discriminated?
Absolutely. I'll say we are being discriminated. And in fact, we should take a step and sue IBC or the parliament, the one who enacted the law, saying that we can only use the Kenyan ID, rather Kenyan the passport, because as Bonamitei says, the Kenyan ID is the primary document because it doesn't expire. Unlike the passport, which expires, you have to keep on renewing it. I still have my Kenyan ID from 1990s that was issued the first time I turned 18. And, it's valid. I can use it, but them saying a valid Kenyan passport, and in between that time period, especially last year, they introduced a new Kenyan passport, and they wanted everyone to have it by end of last year, and it's impossible. I think a lot of diasporans here don't have the new, as they call it, the light blue East African passport. So essentially that means even with the passport, majority of Kenyans are not going to vote. So that in itself is voter suppression. And, everyone has an ID, as Mitei says, and Sarah says, everyone has an ID and we should use that ID to vote. And to add an important point is, yes, I can understand them trying to say passport is the valid. Maybe it's because they're assuming you left Kenya with a passport, not a Kenyan ID, so you should have some legal stance being here with a Kenyan passport. But why would somebody in Kenya vote with an ID? And why is an ID here not legal? Why doesn't it say I'm a Kenyan when it's here? It should be a universal document. So that's something which should take it up to the next level. And I say next level, it means we're going to sue the IBC to allow us to use the ID.
And thank you so much. The people who are in East Africa voted last time in the last general elections. The people who are in East African countries, they voted. And even right now, if you look at the circular that was sent by IBC, they say that those who are in East Africa can use their IDs and their passports, but those who are outside there, they may not use an ID. They can only use a passport. Now, I hope that somebody will take up that issue. I know that we are all here. I know that somebody will take up that issue so that we can have it totally taken care of, so that Kenyans can at least participate in an election. Let us come to the other point of locations, where we are supposed to register to vote. Looking at the embassies and the consulars and the other offices, I'm now thinking that there are people who are in Dubai, or there are people who are in Germany, or there are people who are in Austria area who will be listening to this broadcast when they wake up. But right now, is that making sense? Let us start with Mitei.
Okay, with the location, it depends on the countries. I think in some other diaspora countries, using the embassies, it's a small country. It's okay. But coming to places like the US, some other places in Europe, it doesn't make sense, especially like in the US, where I know when most of the people, or maybe the people who made the law, they thought like the US is the same as Kenya, where people stay in provinces or something, because one state in the US is almost like the entire Kenya. So it's like you're telling somebody from Kenya to go to South Africa to register. It's not cost effective at all. And the law where they are saying that it has to be like a Kenyan soil where things can be done, because most of the time they consider an embassy a Kenyan soil. But any place that a Kenyan government rent at that point is considered Kenyan soil. So what they can do in order to help people in diaspora to register is to allow when the people from IDP come to Israel, they can travel from state to state, and we can help provide transportation, help them to move around to all these other states. People will be willing to do that, and that will be a big thing that will help allow everyone to vote. Because if you say that people can come only to DC, people in DC can go in there. But if you tell somebody from Ohio to come to DC, so that person is going to spend at least maybe $200 to $300 to get here, and then accommodation about $200. That'll be $500. So plus other things, somebody may end up spending like $1,000. So does it make sense for you to spend 100,000 Kenya shilling just to come and register for vote for your right? And then after that, you go back and then they tell you have to come back again to verify your vote. That is the second time. That means you're spending another $1,000. And then you have to come again to vote. That means you're going to spend about $3,000. It doesn't make sense at all to anybody. Any economist will have to think about that. Like, okay, does it make sense to me to spend $300 to get what? To give that one vote? It's going to be a big challenge, and the best way to do it is please allow the people in diaspora to vote. And the only way you can allow the people in diaspora to vote is allow them to register. The IBC can designate most of the cities where there are a lot of people, but people should be at least, they should consider maybe about 100 miles radius in every location for people to come and register, especially where there are a lot of Kenyans and all that, and people come and register. So they should be just moving in those locations. So this other way of using only the embassies, it will not make sense. That's my take for that one for now.
Thank you so much. Sarah, I don't know what you have to say. Right now, if I have to go to Washington, D.C. To register, that is on the maybe 23rd, according to the ticket right here on my other computer, it's about $400 to go to Washington on the 23rd to go and register to vote. And that means I have to call in to RAC, and I have to get somewhere to spend, and I have to get an Uber to transport me from the airport to Washington DC embassy. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
I may be patriotic, I may love my country, and this is where people will start the voter bribery. If at all those people who are buying votes, if at all one vote will be important, then some people will say, yes, I can be able to transport a few people and take them to DC, or rather take them to California. It doesn't make sense. So tell us.
It is. It's not even only a matter of cost and time. It is also a matter of the inconvenience that you get. In America, if you're voting age, it's likely that you're also a parent. And if you're a parent, you can go and leave your children. you have to stay with your children wherever you are. So there's so much other cost or many other inconvenience that comes with us being able to vote. And so the issue of renting places or even getting free offices from Kenyans or from other embassies that are friends of Kenya to be able to do this exercise for these 2 weeks would be very important if they had considered. I've been thinking about the whole idea of voting through the embassy, and however much they think that it will be possible, like in the embassy in New York City, for you to be able to go to the embassy, you have to make an appointment. You can't go beyond the front desk. In fact, you can't get inside the building unless you have an appointment. So far, from what I've seen, they still don't have the information or the mechanism on how we can even be able to make an appointment if we're going to be able to register at all. Now, when I think about the whole decision that have been made against us, against the diaspora, I can't help to think that our president went to school in the United States of America. And so he has a very good understanding of what it means or how America is. I know there may be some other people who are making decisions or who are involved in making the decision that, like Dennis said, they're thinking U.S. is like Kenya. But our president, many of the justices or the commissioners, they have been here. So they have a full of understanding of what it means to be able to leave Atlanta and come to Washington, D.C. to vote, or leave Texas to go to California to vote. They do. They have a very good understanding. My other point is that I would like to know, because we have a good ambassador who is always working with us and always advocating for us. I'd like to know if he is doing anything to advocate for his people. Because when we are here, he is the communication link to the government in Kenya, to at least some of the arms of the government in Kenya. Is he advocating for us? What has he done? Now, so that, it's out there. So we really need to push in all ways. Our ambassador need to advocate for us. We need to get the senator to act and try to change this, because it's not going to work for most people. And third, we are still pushing the IBC to try and, try to discuss or do whatever they need to do to be able to change whatever they are calling calling a law, which, from what I understand, it's not impossible for them to be able to rent a place. And finally, I know there's a budget that is there for the whole voting exercise. And I'm sure money is not the issue here. They can be able to afford to rent extra space in different states and even send workers or people involved or get volunteers, because many Kenyans are willing to work to help, to be able to register people. At the minimum, they should be able to extend the registration and also extend the opportunity to go and confirm that you are registered by going to the people. If the voting itself can be done at the embassy, at least that's a small accommodation that they can do, if they can't do everything, But for right now, I see a lot of discrimination, a lot of restriction, and unfortunate, we are being told that we were fought. We are being given food that is in a grass mill, where you can see the food but you can't eat it. Unfortunate. But as we must be willing to do something. We must be willing to let our voices be heard. We must support if there's any organization that decide to sue. Whatever the case we need to do, we have to do it. Otherwise, if we just sit down comfortably in our couches, we are not going to achieve it. They are not going to give it to us.
Thank you.
We must work hard to break that glass to be able to get the food.
Kevin, I don't know whether there's political goodwill, because we may have the desire, we may have all these ideas, but eventually, is there a political goodwill? 2010 and in the other past elections, the candidates came across to different states speaking all the goodies. The former commissioners, they came everywhere and said, yes, the diaspora. And then at the end of the day, we forget. Parliament sat for 3 days the other day, special sitting, and they were fighting there to change, or rather to pass an electoral political parties bill. And it passed through the parliament, and now it is going to Senate. I saw in the newspaper today, they are calling for the memoranda from the people, and they put it there. But if at all they can sit for 3 days to pass the parliamentary parties bill, how hard is it for them to sit and ensure that they change some of these policies? Or the electoral, the IBC Act to ensure that somebody who is in Seattle can be registered there. What do we need? The biometrics kit or the IBC kit? Then we can have as many as possible and they can be secure. But before you say anything, Kevin, let me see. Chiro says budget went with mapping. They were here for mapping for a few days. And then David Onserio Monda says, Captain RTV, a few things. One, for the passport, there is the added challenge of validity. I don't know whether anybody has tried to go to Kenya recently. Do you know what it takes for you to go to Kenya? If at all you don't have if you have the American passport, then you need to file for e-citizen. For you to file for e-visa. For you to file for e-visa, then you will need an invitation letter stating where you're going in Kenya. You will need a passport size photo and so many other things. Anyway, as of January 1st, Kenyans will have to use e-passports. No clarity has been provided by CS Matiang'i. And I know that they have intelligence reports, so everything that is going on in the social media, they are able to capture this information. So, Bwana CS Matiang'i, can you please consider that issue? There is also the issue of why diasporians can only vote for the president and not any other positions. Suing the IBC will be a challenge because of the tight time frames. By the time the case is heard, the legal issues will be moot. On locations, diasporians can only vote in DC, New York, and the other one is the LA consular. Dr. Jenny Rongo is in Oklahoma. Says, my friend Sarah and the other panel members, give me one reason why I should fly to DC, New York, or LA to vote. What is our government going to deliver to a diaspora? Then the other one is Chiro. Maybe not this time around we'll get to vote, but we have made headway for the next. We woke up a little too late with activism and agitation for the diaspora vote. Then Peter Ndiangui, OVC, is taking this, Daktari, very seriously, and will stop at nothing to get this to the top. At this time, we are going to engage the legislatures if that does not work. Grace Ndongo says, Asante sana for bringing this up, Captain. Wijaba, thank you, Mono. Grace Ndongo says, Jambo, is it possible to have them visit the big cities and issue IDs plus passports? Some of us need these documents ASAP, please. And thank you for facilitating these. I have other members that are bringing in their ideas. So, Kevin.
Yeah, just to address that question about political will, I think it's important either we speak directly to the presidential contestant, since we diasporans are only going to vote for the presidential candidates. They should come and address us because they stand to benefit from the biggest foreign exchange earner, or rather, money that's coming to Kenya comes from the diaspora, and particularly the largest is from US. They need to come and address us and take care of our needs, because once we are taken care of, we'll actually pay more to the country, and the future president, they're going to benefit from our remittances. So it's important that they take this matter into consideration. But more importantly, I don't know if you'll take a gazette notice or who's going to do exactly what happened in 2017, where an hotel in Tanzania was made a polling station in Arusha. It's not an embassy, it's not a consulate, it's just a gazette notice, and they made a hotel to be a polling center. Exactly the same process can be done here in the US. Identify some hotels the same way in New York and other locations where Kenyans are, Dallas, Houston, Minneapolis, and gazette those locations and engage Kenyans. I was a poll worker in Kenya in 97. We understand it's not a big deal. We can educate people here and train them, and we're ready to work, ready to help them. So that political will has to be there, but then we need to address the people who have vested interests, because even the MPs, some of them don't know if they're going to be MPs after the elections. But the presidential candidates, we are voting for them. So that makes more sense for them. And, marshal their party members. So that's an important thing we can do. About the elective office, I think we can only vote for president, which makes sense for the time being because we are here and this is essentially our jurisdiction, rather location where we live, and there's no representative per se. But eventually we need to have a diaspora member of parliament or a governor or a senator, somebody or a diaspora desk, somebody whom we elect to take care of our needs in Nairobi. So that should be something which you consider, because I can't vote for an MP in Nakuru, even though I don't live there physically, maybe my family in a different state or a different county. So it makes sense just to vote for president for the time being, but eventually they need to look at how we can vote for other officials. Mm-hmm. That's what I can address at the moment.
Thank you so much. When we come back, we are going to look at, we're just concluding, but before we do that, we are going to look at the divisions that we have seen that may make it difficult for us in the diaspora to speak in one voice as Kenyans in the diaspora. We speak as Kenyans from I don't know which particular community, and we speak as Kenyans from I don't know which level economic status, from Seattle, from East, from the West, others. We don't have a diaspora one voice as it ought to be. Please, let's prepare for that. But before then, allow me to mention the things that the IBC said in this particular voter registration information that was passed out. One is they will be registering voters in different places, from Uganda in Kampala, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and Dar es Salaam and Arusha. Those are two polling stations or two registration centers in Tanzania. In Rwanda, they'll be doing it in Kigali. In Burundi, they'll be doing it in Bujumbura. Here in the US, they'll be doing it in Washington, D.C., New York, and L.A. And in the United Kingdom, they'll be doing it in London. UAE, they'll be doing it in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Qatar, you will be forced to go to Doha. In Germany, though, you'll be forced to go to Berlin. In Canada, you will be forced to go to Ottawa, Toronto, or Vancouver. Those are three registration centers. What are the requirements for registration as a voter? They say that you are supposed to have a Kenyan passport or an ID for citizens residing within the East African community. So if you're not in East African community, then you are supposed to have a passport. And then be of 18 years of age and above. Present his or her identification documents to a registration officer stationed as at the registration center. The other thing that you will do is you allow your biometrics and biographic data to be taken during the registration. So you have to present yourself physically. If you're in Seattle, like Catherine Duro, Betty, I see all of you. If you are there, you have to go to California. Present yourself, upigwe picha, Mswahili, alama za vidole.
Kidole gumba.
So all those things. So there's so much that we need to talk about, and I hope that IBC will step up and listen to us. Let us briefly talk about what it will take. Are we so divided that we cannot be able to speak in one voice? Bonamite, you are a consultant.
Yeah, I believe most thing that is challenging for the most diaspora people is people overwork and they end up not having time to spend time together. So that makes people have different ideas of different way of thinking. So for diaspora, where we have different challenges in our communities, and the thing is, in order for things to be done, we need to come together and pull up something and do something. If you see most of the successful communities here in the US, the Jewish communities, how do they do their stuff? They work as one, they talk as one, they invest in one thing at a time. So we as Kenyans, let's forget the tribe. As Kevin said before, let's use our difference in culture to build ourselves. You know, like everything, like each culture, each tribe, we have like 42 or 43 now. So all those, they have different things that is very unique in them and very important in them. So if we bring ideas from each and every one of us and put them together, Kenya will be far, 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 far. So the best way to get things moving for us here in diaspora, we need to talk as one voice. That's why the One Voice Consortium came together. That's why it's bringing up all these other organizations together, telling them, okay, let's get together. If we get together and we pull up together, we all come together to one thing. When we say something, government will listen. Let's say if we come, all the Kenyan organizations in everywhere in the world come together into one organization, then we all say we need this. And then if the government say no, we say, okay, no, we're not sending anything to Kenya for the next 2 months. Mm-hmm. You will see the government will lie down and say, okay, they'll listen to what we're saying. Economic empowerment. Most of the money that goes to Africa into Kenya, it comes from diaspora. The foreign exchange, it's a lot, billions of dollars, but it comes from all of us. We said together, okay, we need this. Even like for now, like we need a different location for voter registration and all that. If we were all talking in one voice and we say, okay, if you cannot do this to us, then these are the things that we're going to block, this and this and this, they will listen. If you see how most of these powerful countries do, it's economic, they squeeze the country economically until the country start kneeling down and listen to them. And as diaspora, if we come to one voice, to one organization, and we all do things, say things at once, we'll move the world and we'll do a lot of things together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are coming to a conclusion, and Sarah, I know you have some few things to say as we come to a close of this program. And as we do that, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who has listened to this broadcast. We are supposed to speak and speak and speak. Eventually, it will bear fruits. Sarah.
Thank you. I just want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to come and voice our opinions and share what we have in our hearts. And I know we are here to represent many, because there are many people who have similar ideas or who agree with us. And I know, as Dennis said, they're also thinking of how we can be able to climb this mountain and be able to successfully be the winner. And if we go back to history, countries in Africa were divided, and they are still divided, because when you are divided in small portions, it is easy enough to be conquered. For us here, who are here in diaspora, we have to know that, and we have to move beyond the divisions that are brought by whatever reasons that people feel separate from others. For many years, I've been in politics, or rather, I have involved myself in politics. And, I realized that every 4 years or 5 years, I am campaigning for a team. And we never get to vote. We never get much of the fruits of whatever we fight for. It got to a point where I decided I would rather not fight for anybody, for any political party, but fight for the people who are here, fight for the diasporan. And I found out that the easiest way to fight that fight for us to benefit politically, it's for us to team up and be together and be able to speak in one voice. And I'm here because I'm a member of One Voice. I wear many hats because, like I said, I have been involved in politics in the past. I have political groups that are very strong and, that has many people, that people discuss politics. But I find that I thrive and I'm happy when I'm in a group that it's looking at things in a holistic way to make us complete, because we could not vote before. Mm-hmm. But now, because of those organizations that have come together, we are voting. And so I would encourage all members of the society, members of Kenyans, Americans who are here, or Kenyans who live here, to join One Voice. Because if we join together in one voice, we'll be able to move many more mountains easily. Likely, if we team up and join this one organization, we are more likely to be able to realize our dream of having representatives here, to have even easier way of voting rather than trying to talk about how do we go to New York or how do we go to this embassy or whatever. We should actually be having an embassy in every state. Why can't we have an embassy in every state? Why do we have to drive to Washington, D.C. or to fly to L.A. to get an ID? These are basic needs for all Kenyans. But we cannot be able to get them unless we come together, team up, and be in one unison. We speak in one voice.
Thank you.
and let ourselves known. The other point that I will touch very quickly, it's the point that Dennis talked about, and that is the economic power. And I want to say that Jabolis was started with the notion of exactly what Jewish do. They empower each other. And Jabolis is there so that all of us can be able to know what other Kenyans or other Africans are doing, so that we can support them, and economically we can continue to support each other. So I encourage everyone also to join Jabolis. Go sign up your business. It's free. We are just creating a directory whereby if I happen to travel and I go to Arizona for work, I can go to Jabolis and know who within the locality where I am is cooking some Kenyan food, or who sells Kenyan clothes, or who is a doctor who is a Kenyan who is in the area. So if you're in service industry or you have a business, register in Jambo. It's free. Get yourself in the directory and let's support each other.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you
much.
again. We are very happy to be here.
Thank you. The president of the Swahili Cultural Center is right here, and let me see as he comes. I would wish you to address these presidential candidates. I would wish you to address these presidential candidates. The most advantageous thing is that they have their followers and they tell them what is happening. I know Bwana Matiang'i is having intelligence people everywhere, and they get these reports. They know that captain somewhere is speaking a language that may cause chaos, and they get to arrest them. I know these things are happening. So when we are discussing these things, they get the report. So I want you to look at that camera and speak to them. Let them know exactly what we want, we in the diaspora. Speaking on behalf of the young men and women, some of them who came here when they were below 18, they were young children, and now they are 18 years. They don't even know what we are talking about, because the divisions in the parents, the politicians, they don't even come. They don't even know what is happening. The only thing that they want is the exchange. As you say that, listen to these comments so that you can conclude with this. Molo Wilson Newdon says, oh yes, Kenyans, especially the old folks, are divided like heaven and hell. Tribalism is the same here as in Kenya. That's very sorry. It's happening. Wangezi Rachel, they know very well where the votes are headed. Magimaish, thank you so much. Grace Ndongo, listen to Nyam Nyams. Nyam Nyams is a business lady based in Pennsylvania. Maybe you'll need to meet with her, Bonamite, and see what is happening up there. Getting an American passport is very easy. Just walking in a post office with your birth certificate and a passport photo, fill the form, and within 15 minutes, done. Yeah, Kenya, a whole siege. You need endorser ID, your parents' IDs. What is this? We are over 18 Germany. Wow. Then the other person said, Joel Arama, we have to start by respecting each other's opinions and views. Let us focus on what is a common challenge to all of us. Kairetu Kajeso, now, to get even an appointment for a Kenyan passport is almost an year or even more. Why? Shiko says, next time, please let me know. Mapema. Shiko, what you do is that you press the subscription button over there and you ring the notification bell, and then boom, you'll be getting these things. Peter Diangui, we are stronger together. That is the motto of One Voice. Together, we will make them change their mind, and we have the moral authority to do so. President, Karibu.
Thank you very much. And just to conclude, I'll give a perspective of how my journey came to start Swahili Cultural Institute. And I speak German fluent, and I was blessed to go to school in Germany. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the European countries, all of them speak one language. Think of French, German, Italian, England. They all speak one language. They have one culture. But when you come to Africa, we have 54 countries. When you come to Kenya, one country, but you have 42 tribes, 42 probably languages. So by default, we are divided. So we have to find a way of working together. And language is one low-hanging fruit. In this case, a language like Swahili can help us work in one, bringing us together. So that's one thing which I saw. We don't have a common unifier language, which can make us to be as strong. Either it's a unit, it's a county, it's a country. And once we realize that, we'll be able to start seeing development. We'll build our own things in our own languages. And this I want to address to the presidential candidates. Please come and address us. Come and talk to the diaspora. We have a lot of ideas we've learned by living out here. There are so many things we can implement. You need us to make that country realize Vision 2030 probably in 5 years or less. And I'll also want to thank One Voice Consortium for organizing this and just trying to bring out the diaspora together, because it's the one organization I've seen has done very well in trying to bring the different organization, which is key. And to address your earlier point, why is the diaspora divided? The same thing. We are 42 tribes. The default we go to, you first don't think yourself as Kenyan, because if you ask what makes you Kenyan, you have to look and search. So hopefully One Voice will try and make this more a unified diaspora in the US and across the globe. And I'm happy we had this forum, and thank you very much for hosting us. This is excellent, having an online radio where we can air our views. And have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Bwana Mitei, let me give you an opportunity. I see my friend, Honorable Jude Njomo. He's a member of parliament. And I see him right here listening and watching to us. And now that he's here, I had sent a message to Bwana Keoni, who is also my friend. We worked with these people when I was in KBC Shoro FM. And I know that they will get these reports. But now that Honorable Jude Jomo is here, can we send him to Parliament? You're on mute.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Captain. And I'm very happy that we have this conversation here today. And for the Honorable who is listening right now, or anyone who will be listening, all the members of Parliament will be listening to this. Please listen to diaspora. They need to vote, and they are proud to be Kenyans. They want to vote. And the only way to do that is for you to allow the law for us to use the ID, and also for the IBC to use wherever tools they have to go to different cities for the people to vote. The main thing we need to do is to register to vote. And the Kenyan ID is the primary form of identification for any Kenyan anywhere in the world. We have the ID. And if we have that, even I've been to different countries in Africa, they didn't have the ID. Kenya was the thing among the first countries to have ID as the key thing that it's difficult to get. So if it's hard to get the Kenyan ID because you have to prove that you are a Kenyan. Passport, it's easy. A lot of people will get the passport, but ID is something that was very difficult. ID number doesn't change. It remains the same. Passport number keep changing. So please, the Kenyan ID should be the primary key, primary document that can be used to vote or to register to vote for all the diaspora. Thank you so much, Captain, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, OVC, for organizing this, and we are proud OVC members, and we will welcome everyone. Come on, let's work together as Kenyans. Let's build our country. We are proud Kenyans. Let's say, okay, this is home in diaspora, and we have home in Kenya. I know most of us, we retire, we will be spending most of the time in Kenya. So that will be a home, and we need Kenya to be perfect. And the only way is for us to work together as one voice. And then we work together as one voice, we'll make Kenya great, and when we go home, you'll not be afraid of anything. There's a lot of challenges. Sometimes people say security, insecurity, roads. And I usually wonder what most of the members of parliament, they've been here. They see the roads. They see how things are here. The only way that we can reduce accidents in Kenya is building roads that were like a one-way, not like two-way roads, right? So barabara moja, magari zote zinaenda direction moja, zingine zinakuja this side. Most of the accident is collision in Kenya. And members of parliaments, I know they have been here, and that is the way that we can save our people's life. They will now spend more money on politics instead of building the roads. We're praying that please listen to us. Let's all work together as a country. Let's come together and let's all build our country, and we'll be proud to be Kenyans. Thank you so much. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So on behalf of the One Voice, I see Dr. Robert Shiri, Dr. Peter Ndiangui right here, and all the other members. I wish to take this opportunity to thank you so much. Sarah from the jumbo list, thank you so much, and we'll continue to work together. I know you're doing a lot of work. President of the Swahili Cultural Center, I may come to remind myself some of the things that I have forgotten, and Bwana Mitei, we are going to talk more so that we can advertise and promote whatever you're doing, especially on the motor vehicle. I think that is one of the things that connects all of us. So thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Good
Night.
night. So that one brings us to the end of that particular segment of our program. This is Captain Njoroge Wanjeri. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has been able to listen to this program. Hey, we love Kenya. Kenya is our country. I see so many people speaking because of the challenges that are going on. And as we fight, as we talk, as we look at things, like I said earlier, the politicians, at the end of the day, one of them will be a president, the other one will be a member of the opposition, and they will be paid for the next 5 years. Kenyans will continue to hustle and to work and to do whatever they do. And we should not fight. So, Bwana, my friend, Honorable Jude Njomo, doing some very good job in Kiambu. Very good job. Bwana Jude Njomo is one of my, key examples of what a member of parliament should be doing, building and developing the constituency. Together with my friend from Gatodo, that is Honorable Wanjiko. And let us do that. When we have the right leaders, when they have the proper mindset, then we are going to go far. But on this issue of the diaspora voting, it's very good. It's very, very good. It's a very good step forward. But would you please, on behalf of the people who are in the diaspora, Bwana Mheshimiwa Jude, because I can see you here, would you please try and see if at all you can ask a question in Parliament so that Kenyans, for example, in the US, how do you expect somebody from Seattle, Washington, or from Alaska, or from wherever to fly to LA or to Washington, D.C., or to New York, to go to New York, or rather to Washington, D.C., from where I'm sitting right now? It would cost me, the flight alone would be $340 or $50, together with the vehicle, or from the airport to the embassy, and even to where to spend the night. It is like driving, or it's like flying from whichever part of the country of Africa to go and vote or register. I go and register, and then later I go and verify whether my names are right, and then I go and vote. That's about $400 or $500. That's about $4,000 or $5,000. As much as we want to do that, maybe there's something that we can change. Is it possible for IBC to designate, or rather to request, the government, the other side, or the cities or the states to allow Kenyans to be registered as voters, for example, in Dallas or in Seattle, Washington, or in Minnesota, or in Atlanta, Georgia, wherever they are? Is it possible? I know it is possible. Is it possible to think of using an ID, or rather the passport, together with the ID, so that those who don't have the new generation passport can use maybe the ID? Then that becomes good. At least we'll see that you're taking care of us. But for now, question. To the presidential candidates, we love you. Let's hear your manifestos on how you're going to make Kenya a better place for everybody, so that we don't have to see what we are seeing right now. And you better tame the people who are speaking in your campaigns. Maybe they should sign a memorandum of understanding, so that if at all something happens with their campaigners or the people who are campaigning for them, then they'll be held responsible. Not just locking them in, but even preventing them from participating in any election. But we are also saying that justice should be practiced evenly. Whatever you do for person A should be the same judgment, or the same test, or the same threshold for person B. And then now we'll be communicating. Thank you so much. This is the Trumpet of Hope. Chitago Captain Joroge wa Jerry.
Captain RTV, the trumpet.